representative identity. Dialogue, discussion, and the exchange of information, concerns, that will serve as a benefit one to another, as well as alternative to being solution oriented. So there is knowledge. There are those that are considered to be knowledgeable, who know certain things and yet utilize their knowledge and at the expense of keeping people from the knowledge that they know or that they have, and limit the options of others, do so to misguide people and create erroneous paths, But there was a story of two gentlemen, one by the name of Martin Delaney and the other by the name of Frederick Douglass, Frederick Douglass wrote a paper, My Bondage, My Freedom. One of the most important tenets of the newspaper is the importance of temperance, I say that society is under social reconstruction where our feelings are becoming desensitized, our thoughts demoralized, our attitude dehumanized, our communication devitalized, and our activity destabilized, But the third component of the channel of this maturation process in which one communicates from happens to do with temperance, because it is designed to revive social coherency, become cognitive, coherent. You can hear real clear, clear in your thinking, And but this paper that was written, or article or essay, I can't recall specifically what it was, but it was a writing, and temperance, and it's important in pursuing what was called, maybe termed black elevation, And we know that when it comes to black and white, they're just concepts, it's nothing factual, But yes, but in pursuing elevation, in the United States, representative identity, as Brother Levine would speak of, associated with coming from his book, But elevation in one's status, who best represents the identity of the people, and in his pursuit of elevation, and some Dr. Clark would talk about finding a place of legitimacy, and so one should recruit people into the army of temperance, temperance slash temperament, that we revise being socially coherent. And when you're socially coherent, you don't suffer from cognitive dissonance, But to be temperance is to be, develop the right attitude, have self-control, and do things in moderation. Moderation, must strengthen our resolve, And if one doesn't and unable to do that, and we deal with misguided ways and erroneous paths, and a sense of creates a false dilemma, false sense of self, and representing, the this identity of a people. Who is going to represent this identity of a people, and if you are being misguided and erroneous ways, seem as though that one's you lead people in to the point that they that you falsely tell them that they're you limit their options, so to speak. You limit their options. This representative of an identity of one's status becomes very obscure, to others, and it could also play in part of women as well, and also we look at in a society where there are those who have achieved, a lot of wealth in the country, and do they represent, the collective consciousness and the identity of the wholeness or the totality of a people? No, they do not. They do not. But yeah, so but then there are those who give invalid statements, and do so to defamation of one's character, and one has to be clear that he or she don't be used by a system that you wind up representing the obscurity of the system and use each other as a tool, or being used as a tool, and use the others that you represent as a foil, or used as a stepping stone to argue your case at the expense you will emerge as the representative of others, of the people, the collective identity, when you really do not. You really do not. I think we need to study the way ideas and writings of those in the past and until now, and how they reflect one's, personal ideology, and therefore there lies the ideological conflict, So that's why we need to get into a dialogue and discussions and exchanges, because we want to try to reduce this binaryism, or that we become opponents of each other, and we must overcome the negative identity of self as well. So, sometimes, leadership can become, boring. It can become outdated. You don't become relevant, because, things change, everything changes. So then there are those who who want integration. There are those who want separation, assimilation. But then again, you think about it, it's a little bit of that in all of us. There's a little bit of that in all of us. It seemed to be the case when the boys and Booker T and Garvey and Henry Herbert Harrison and they seem to leave out the women such as Ida B. Wells, and you have a strong sister by the name of Church Terrell, very sharp sister as well, and then you have Ella Baker, because we don't want to, be allow ourselves to be used as a tool that we become, opponents of each other when it comes to in pursuit of the elevation of blacks in America, if I may use that term. One of the things we must really come to conclude, we must strengthen our resolve, and create an army of temperance, an army of self-control. That there is no need to assassinate one's character publicly and even privately. And if anything that needs to be worked out, it needs to be worked out from within, Yes. So we have to understand the importance in the usage of language. And understand it's just it means in the manner or way in which one is expressing himself and that which he or she is in pursuit of. Yes. And be clear about it and be intentional about it. So then therefore it leads to one being able to, to rely on him or herself, self-reliance. I think we all can agree that we are conscious of a shared experience of oppression, at the hands of a people, As a programming system, So there is a need for people to once again to primarily rely on themselves, and in certain vital areas of life. And we must be able to make sense of what comes out of it and from it. Using whatever it is, the literature or writings, our influence, our money, as a means and a way not only to demonstrate the elevation, but to reinvest in the people, that they too will elevate their status and their means and their ways when it comes to being productive and as it pertains to productivity, as I may say that. Yes. So we must understand, as B. Fuller, we must take the commerce approach. Yes. Not to undermine, each other, as Douglas, used Harriet Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, And but you know, it shouldn't be done, or we shouldn't use things and use our status, our elevated status, to undermine others, and not allowing, you know, what we have attained to undermine each other. You know, so that Douglas could have been doing that to undermine Delaney. You know, yes, because what has Delaney may have regarded the work as a work of racist, you know, colonialists, you know, because it regarded as racist, you know, and Douglas could have celebrated the work, you know, and everybody wants to be celebrated, you know. So that means that we shouldn't, once again, allow, you know, to use one another as a foil, you know, as a stepping stone, you know, to make one's own argument about his or her crucial importance of being the representative of a people, so that you may emerge, and while others still remain at the bottom, you know. Yes. So yes, so we all want to elevate our Latin, our status in life. But may we not do so at the expense of being used and use others, and mocking each other and undermining each other and stepping on each other in doing so.